We will now start the first panel themed How the Choices I Made Impacted My Future. I would like to welcome our moderator for this panel, Malia Mreikhi, class of 2000, Al-Mawaqib School of Al Garhoud, over 17 years experience in marketing and communication.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to call my panel on stage, Alia Nabouda, Sahar Parham, Hana Al-Alawi, Farah Saboube, Ali, and Nejati, please. Good morning, everyone. Al-Mawaqib School Garhoud, welcome. Al-Mawaqib School Bersha and International School of Science and Arts and Sciences, welcome to our conference. This is the third conference, as my colleague mentioned, we are organizing this year. And today on the first panel, we're going to talk about my choices. Before I get into discussions with my panel, I want to read two paragraphs that I found on the internet yesterday. It was quite impressive. So what are choices? Our lives are the sum of our choices. Each choice that we make, whether it's big or small, shapes and determines our lives. The most obvious results of our choices is the impact it has on us, and most importantly, on the ones around us. When you drop a pebble in the water, it creates a ripple expansion that radiates outwards. Similarly, the impact from our choices also radiates outwards, affecting the world around us for better or for worse. Good choices bring joy and blessings into our lives. Poor choices, on the other hand, haunt us internally as regrets and externally as problems. Hence, we must be careful of the choices we make and the impacts they have on us. So today I want to start by requesting our panelists to give a short intro about themselves, so we understand who we have on the panel today. Alia, can we start with you?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Alia Khalifa Al-Nabouda. I am in my family business, so I'm an active board member in Khalifa Jama'an Nabouda group of companies. I am also the co-founder and partner of Voucher Scout. I am a partner at Acumen Advertising, DMCC. You want me to give a small brief about what? Education. I graduated from Al-Mawaqib Bersha in 2001. Then I went on to Zayed University and I got a bachelor's degree in business with a specialization in marketing. Then I did my master's from the University of Wollongong in international business. And then I went and started working.
Thank you, Alia. Hannah?
Hi, can you hear me? My name is Hana Alawi. I'm a graduate of 1999, Al-Mawaqib Bersha, so the first group that graduated from Al-Bersha School. I studied at Zayed University and Bachelor of Business, specializing in finance. After that, I worked for 8 years with Mubadala Development Company in the merger and acquisitions. Then I moved to, within those 8 years, I did a 1 year in the States, internship, kind of. I did 6 months in London, also an internship working with one of the companies there, consulting companies. And then I moved after that to, within Mubadala itself, to the oil and gas. And I'm working right now with the strategies team, where we build a strategy for the company itself. And yeah, I'm still there.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Farah Sabboube. I graduated from Al Mawakib Garhoud back in 2008. Woo! Woo, woo, woo. I'm an architect by profession. Upon graduating from Al Mawakib, I completed my design program at the American University in Sharjah, and then my bachelor's in architecture from the American University in Dubai. And I'm currently enrolled in a master's program, a master's in strategic design of spaces in IE in Madrid in Spain. I'm currently an architect at a Dubai-based organization called Cultural Engineering. I run a small department, the education team, that looks after urban research and a lot of creative exhibitions and publications locally and internationally. That's it.
Thank you, Farah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ali Berri. I graduated from also Garhoud. Yes, I remember we were always loud, and we are still loud. Yes. I'd like
We
to
have a
just-
Garhoud team spirit here today.
Yes, indeed. And in your booklets or brochures, it says I graduated from Bersha. I did not. I guess I did a huge influence on my teachers. They remember me. Yes. I'd like to share with you just 30-second story of why I'm here actually. So in September, I received a call from Miss Elisar, this great lady, that actually explained to us what's the purpose of actually Voices and what it actually inspires and does as a success for the students. I was like, you know what, sign me in. When I understood what's the purpose behind it, I remember I was sitting out there and I was like, I wanted this type of conference. You know, we wanted to ask these questions as well. We wanted to understand. We wanted to know the people that graduated from Mawakib, where did they reach? So this is a great opportunity for us. I would like to thank the management and everyone that actually stood behind this. Let me tell you more about myself. I graduated from AUS. I did my MBA and my bachelor degree both at AUS. Currently, after graduation, I actually started in the luxury industry, which I've never thought I would actually be in that. So I started in fashion, perfumes, cosmetics. Yes, every single woman's dream job. Yes. But I was so into sports and cars, and I was like, what did I do to myself? But I remember 10 years down the line, I actually I'm with General Motors right now in the car industry, leading on the project of electrification and autonomous driving. We're getting the future to the region. Electric cars and autonomous driving is actually the new thing to go in the direction. I started as well in 2012 a small startup into fashion industry as well. And the good news is one of the panelists here, a good friend of mine, Najati, is one of our biggest clients. So thank you, Chief.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Sahab Farham Al-Awadi. I'm a graduate of Garhoud, 2004. After I graduated, I attended the American University of Sharjah, where I did my Bachelor's of Arts in Mass Communication. I specialized in advertising, and I minored in design management. And after I graduated, I worked at Zayed University for about 4 years. I did all of their branding, communication, social media, marketing, you name it. But somehow I kept thinking about pastries. So I took this step. I applied to this restaurant called La Serre. I fell in love, and then I started working there as a pastry chef. Completely different industry, completely different world. And I was there for about 2 years. Right now, I work at Burj Al Arab, also as a pastry chef, and it's been about 4 years, and I've never looked back. So that's my story.
Wow.
Hi, good morning. My name is Najati. I'm class of 2003. I graduated from Garhoud.
I think Najati, I think we bring Hind Siddiqui from Barsha on board so we can balance it a little bit.
But I'm currently the founder and managing director of a boutique advertisement and design agency called Scratch Communications. A bit of background about me is I studied fine arts. Thank you to Mr. Michel. If you guys, if any senior did not go to the art club here, you've missed out on a lot, okay? I think a few of us here did, and I can really thank what I'm doing today based on him, Mr. Michel. Thank you. I've worked a lot in the design industry, be it Sheikh Ahmed bin Rashid's office, where we've done the Horse Racing World Cup 2007 campaign. I'm still a student, so I haven't graduated yet. I'm expected to graduate from AUD this year. I'm on my last course. And that's it, really.
Thank you, Najati. I want to address my first question to Sahar Parham about, one of the toughest decisions you had to make in changing dramatically from mass communications to being a sous chef. So what was going on in your mind and how did you make that choice?
It was really tough because everybody really scares you about the hospitality and F&B industry. It's so difficult. You're on your feet about 12 to 14 hours a day. You don't sit. You're on strict deadlines, emotionally drained, no social life. And then it's also, there's a misconception about it, or maybe it's not very familiar to the community where, people go into the hospitality industry or they work in a kitchen. So changing people's mindsets was a challenge. Changing my own mindset was a challenge. It takes a lot of adjusting, but once you know what you want to do, once you know what your passion is, it kind of all becomes worth it.
And do you think that the choices you made affected the people around you as well, or was it primarily focused on you?
For sure, it affected the people around me. I had to miss a lot of family events. I had to miss a lot of birthdays and weddings and a lot of things, and it made people around me very upset. But ultimately, I think they get it now. But yeah, it does affect people around you. You're never around, so you feel a little bit guilty as well.
And Alia, being in the family business, was that a choice that you wanted to make as well?
Being in the family business, I think I've always wanted to be in the family business. I've grown up with my dad and seeing his dinners and being in the office as a kid, hiding under their table, and I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I want to be here. But being a girl, I didn't know if that would have been accepted. So it was a small fight because when I did want to enter the family business, I was the first girl to go in as a board member. And I had 2 kids at the time. So everyone was saying, no, you should be at home with your kids. So I pushed forward and I said, no, this is what I want to do. And I finally won a small battle and I got in, so I became a board member there.
And do you receive any particular advice from the people around you when it came to making or confirming your choice, or was it purely based on your decision?
I got a lot of support from my sisters and my mom and my husband. My husband is my biggest supporter. My sisters actually helped me convincing my dad to let me work there. So the support from the people around you, it helps a lot.
And Nejati, how would you respond to the people around you, the impact they have in decision making in terms of making choices?
I think at the end of the day, everyone has their own opinion based on how they see it fit towards you. So in my personal experience, for once I had a very steady job which was paying very well, and when I told them I'm stopping this and I want to open up my own business, they all freaked out. They're like, "Yani, you're going down." I just had to follow my gut feeling, my instincts, and put all that negativity or potentially a disastrous outcome on the side and just do what I have to do.
And do you have any regrets?
Absolutely not. No. It was the
All
greatest
right.
thing I've ever done.
Fantastic. Farah, what do you think are the fundamental aspects we need to consider before making choices, whether it's a dramatic choice or a choice about life, career path? What do you think are the fundamental bases we need to have or to keep in back of our mind before we make those choices?
That's a very good question. I'm glad you're addressing this to me because I had a personal sort of experience and way to coming up with my own conclusion in response to that. I've also talked about this in one of the Monday 101 classroom activities that we've had last year, and I was very glad to also talk about it and address it. Personally, I learned that being comfortable with being uncomfortable has been the most important tool that I had to learn to acquire. It wasn't something that was built in within my system that I did naturally. I had to stumble around and learn my way the hard way, that I needed to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I guess perhaps everyone in the room right now, especially as seniors trying to make your decisions and trying to make up your minds about the careers that you're trying to get into or the schools that you want to get into, or perhaps even changing countries or whatever. I think for me that has been the biggest sort of decision that I had to make with myself, which is accepting that things are going to get ugly and things can get tough and that things don't necessarily go your way, which is fine. I guess once I've made peace with the fact that things happen, surprises happen, life sort of takes us by surprise, you'd be surprised at how much you can achieve. So once you say, okay, you're prepared, and you say, okay, I can be comfortable with being uncomfortable and I can fight whatever it is that comes my way, then we'll do well. Personally, I don't want to dwell too much, but I guess I can share just a small story or a short story quite briefly. I was planning to get into medicine my entire life. Miss Elisar knows more than anyone. And I was sort of programmed that I was going to do medicine, and everyone in my family was super supportive. I did obviously very well at school, and it just made sense. And then towards the end of my senior year, I started swaying completely to something that couldn't be further away. And I had decided to do architecture. And I wasn't the most talented or brilliant art student. I wasn't the most creative at the time, but something about that profession, for example, or that industry really interested me. And I just found myself getting into that program. I did not do very well at the beginning, which was, again, very uncomfortable for me because I'm used to doing very well and to owning everything that comes my way. And I had just that brilliant sort of resume or background at school. So once I sort of basically dedicated the time and the effort, and I was comfortable in falling not once, not twice, but many more times, it really paid off. And I'm very glad that I've sort of made that decision and stuck with it.
Just to hold you on that thought, the people around you, were they supportive of the choice you made of changing from medicine to something different, or?
I think just like Najati had mentioned, a lot of people were a bit worried, and I guess we are all surrounded with supportive family members that care so much, or perhaps friends and teachers even. that are giving you advice. And of course, it's very important to take that in and to really appreciate that advice that comes our way. But it's even more important to be able to make your own decision and be able to weigh out the options yourself. But yeah, their presence and their support ultimately was very helpful. The moment they saw that I had made up my mind, that I was okay with going through something that may seem tough or difficult, then they definitely give you the support that you require to
Great.
go through.
Najati, what do you think are the other important aspects you have to keep in back of your mind before making choices for your future?
I think ultimately you need to ask why. Why are you doing it? And then find a real reason that's your driver, that's driving you to do that. And if you're convinced about it, nothing else really matters. So find out the why. It's very important, and why not? You know, and you can always go back and forth with it. And let really ultimately it's the passion of why.
To believe in what you're
Yeah.
what you're doing is right.
And I guess if I may add, being comfortable with it taking, for example, a longer time. Just because it doesn't hit you right away, or you don't figure it out from the first time, or you're not sure why you're getting into something from the very beginning, that's fine. If it requires you a bit longer to figure that out, that's totally normal. To each like his or her own pace.
Hannah, looking back to your career, do you have any regrets about the choices you've made?
Regrets. So let me just go back to telling you about my career. I studied my bachelor's in business, and then I studied specifically finance. And when the first experience I had was a one-year internship after graduating from university, I went to the States and I worked with an investment bank there. And it was the first experience being abroad. So when you live abroad, the first thing is you need to accustom yourself to a new environment and feel comfortable. Find that supporting friends, because families is not there. And that's really hard because it takes a lot of energy to start performing to the level that you're expected. And then I had to, because I was in Michigan, so I had to commute from Ann Arbor to the place work, which was about 45 minutes. And that was draining by itself. And then I had to meet new people and try to, understand the work there. It was hard, but the people were really helping to get me to that level. But at the same time, it was really draining that every time I go back home, I'm either crying, I want to go back home, and I'm like, why did I take that decision? I was really comfortable back home, sitting with my family, they're taking care of me, and and then the second day comes, and I'm like, I don't want to go to work. So you get to that point where you're like, was that the right decision to take? But then, because of who you are, because of your education background, the people that has helped you, you feel that you're really strong. You can do much more than what you think you can. So I continued there with the internship for 1 year, and I've learned one thing, which is no matter how hard you think the experience is, you're gonna fall, you're gonna fail, but what's important is that you stand up and continue. Even if the decision was, I came to it at the end of it and I said, this was the right decision, but even if I came and I said, I want to end it, this was not the right decision, I need to be responsible of that decision that I take. Because at the end, the outcome is my outcome because I decided X or Y.
Thank you, Hannah, and beautifully said. I really, truly wish the answer would be exactly what you had said, and you said exactly what I wanted you to say. Choices are difficult, and we have to believe in them, and it's not always easy to make the right choices. Ali, how would you...
Finally, my time.
How would you, looking back in time, do you have any moments that you would say, I wish, or if I made that decision, it would have been something different, or you're happy with the choices that you've made so far?
Well, honestly, yes. Every time, I mean, you have that feeling when you do a lot of decisions. But do I have the regrets? No. The reason why I'm saying this is, yes, every time you take a decision, sometimes you look into, for example, by changing industries, you look back into it and you say, is it the right decision that I made? The first couple of months, it might actually sound that it's a wrong decision. However, day after day, you start realizing that it just makes you stronger. You learn, and as long as you keep on learning every single day, that's a journey that everyone needs to be on. So it's definitely, and I mean, on every single one has to question himself at some point when you're actually taking a decision or you're taking a risk. But the idea here is go out of your comfort zone. Don't actually just remain where you are.
And naturally, I think for all of us, when it comes to make a decision, whatever it may be, as small or as big it may be, we always consult with somebody, a friend, a mother, a father, and a role model. How do you think, what should you have in mind when you're receiving advice from people? Are you 100% towards are they making a decision for you, or what role do they play when it comes to that level?
I would say the most important thing is you look into the person that knows you the most. So it's most probably the family member, or I would say it changes from different levels of your career. For instance, when I was in high school, it was the likes of Mr. Michel, Mr. Adonis, Mr. Omar. Those are the people that you ask for the advice, and you look up to them. Then when you go to university, you start looking and taking, obviously family is always there, but you start looking into those and your advisors, and you ask them those questions. Then it goes, when you start your career at work, it becomes your managers, sometimes it becomes your wife, your girlfriend, whatever it is. Those are the things, I mean, those are like the characteristics that you need to do or have in every single person that you look up to. I would say it's...
So would they influence your decision, or would they kind of advise you on the pros and cons of your choices?
I'm a big believer of, I would take 50% of what I hear, and I have my decision another 50%, because at the end of the day, you know yourself better than anyone.
Sahar, how would you say, moving from when you made that decision or the choice to move from marketing to being a sous chef, was anyone in the process advising you, or are you taking any advice from anybody around you, and what were they?
Just like everybody else mentioned, everybody you care about, everybody around you wants what's best for you, so they'll always give you their opinion. But to me, ultimately what mattered is that I was comfortable with my decision. It was something that I was gonna live and suffer through. And it was really important that in the end of the day, I was comfortable with my decision. It's really important to take advice from everybody. You'll weigh out the pros and the cons. But again, nobody's gonna go through it like you. So you really, really have to be 100% sure of your decision.
Thank you. I would like to open up the questions to the audience, to our students, to our panelists. Do you have any questions? Yes, we have a few questions on this side. So your question, if it's to a particular panelist, you can say the name, or if it's generic, then one of us will answer. Sorry, we can't hear you.
Hello, my name is Sarah Al-Tamimi. I'm a senior in Al-Mawakib Barsha, and I have a general question. What advice do you give to people who don't know what they want to do in the future? Thank you.
This will be shocking. I still don't know what I want to do. I'm about 35 years old. I've worked, okay, you cannot hear me. So I've been working for almost 10 years, 11 years. I still do not know what I want to do. So I've been always afraid to try, and that has been my setback. But now I understand it better is you need to try things. You have a sense to what things do you like. And you need to test this. You need to try things. For example, I enjoy yoga. I enjoy biking. I enjoy drawing, art. So I've started biking, but not yet professionally. Even when I was pregnant with my first second child, I was biking with a 6-month pregnancy. And then I got a sense that I love biking, but this is not what I want to do for my whole life. And then drawing, testing drawing out. I enjoy buying paintings. I'd spend some time drawing, but that's also not the career I want to do. I still don't have an answer because I'm still testing. So really what's important is that you test, because if you just sit there and ask everyone to give you an advice, they don't know you. You know yourself very well, and you know what you like, and you know what you don't like. It's just a matter of, let me test, let me take some courses, let me try, go to conferences, let me speak to people who are in this industry. So I think that testing would give you an idea of, yes, let me put those 3 things in one bucket, and maybe those are the ones that you end up picking from. But don't give up, and don't fear trying. Because if you just sit there and wait, it's not going to do anything.
And it's never too late. Never. Even if you find yourself 4 years down the line or 5 years down the line, at least you've tried. And it, as everybody else mentioned, it's not going to work out the first time. You're not going to just go into it and it's magically going to work out. You're going to fail. You're going to have to try. It's not going to be easy, but it'll be worth it.
Not always. Sometimes it does work from the beginning.
All right, next question.
Is this on? Okay. Hello, my name is Saif Ali. I'm a senior in Al Mawakib Barsha currently. This question in particular targets Mrs. Sabobe, if I'm saying your name correctly. I just wanted to ask, since you studied in the architecture field and you know your way around engineering, I just wanted to ask you, how slow at the beginning does engineering in general start off, and is it does it pay off quite as well as you expected?
What do you mean by payoff? As in rewarding,
Rewarding, not necessarily just money. Happiness can also be a factor. Comfort as well.
I think I speak on behalf of everyone. There is no easy way out. I mean, you shouldn't get into any sort of industry or profession thinking it's going to be a walk in the park. But since you're specifically asking about architecture and engineering, these 2 industries, although they have a lot of overlaps, they're quite different. But there's one important sort of common denominator, which is and I think it applies to everything, not just engineering and architecture, but pretty much every discipline that you're going to choose to get into, which is the time you should invest. You should invest a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of commitment into, I would assume, anything that you would like to master and be really brilliant at. But as far as architecture is concerned, it's known to be a very time-consuming profession. You need to exercise a lot of patience, a lot of thinking, a lot of deep analysis, a lot of research before you venture into making certain decisions pertaining to any sort of design endeavor. But is it rewarding? Absolutely. It hasn't been just, the time that's invested is not just rewarding within the industry or the practice itself. I have learned to become a much more resilient person and a much more patient person because I had to sort of practice that and exercise that as a student and as a professional. I hope that's sure.
Thank you, Farah.
Hello, my name is Hiba Saeed. I am a student in Al-Mawakib Barsha. My question is actually general, and it's as follows. What motivates you to overcome the obstacles you face?
Nejati? You look to be in deep thoughts, yeah?
I was processing the answer. Can someone go?
Ali.
Very good question. First of all, Hiba, I would say you need to analyze and evaluate things before you actually look into that specific risk or obstacle that you mentioned. To overcome the things in life, and again, I'm speaking, it's not like I'm 50 years old, or I'm speaking from a very short career that I've had, or experiences in life, or interaction with colleagues. The obstacles that you can overcome and the way how you overcome them is by looking into your friends, family, ask people around. Keep on asking. Guys, there's no harm, or don't be shy to ask people around. I mean, those are the things you need to know, the experiences of other people, the knowledge that they may come and bring up to, so that you can overcome whatever you come through. But remember, you're always stronger than anyone else, so keep up the good work.
And also, if I may add, just taking it one day at a time, like one little step at a time. It's very easy to get overwhelmed, especially when you're making bigger decisions. The obstacles may look terrifying. The overall experience can seem quite overwhelming. Knowing that, I mean, taking it step by step, taking it one day at a time, figuring out just a little piece of the puzzle along the way, I think that's the most important thing, I guess, just to make it a bit easier.
And obstacles, they don't always have to be a negative thing. You know, obstacles bring challenges into the process. So whenever you feel there's an obstacle, you have to overcome it. So it kind of builds a different character and skill set in you to overcome that. So it's not always a bad thing. As long as you have a positive mind towards where you want to be, no matter what the obstacle is, I'm sure you can overcome that.
I'll just add one more point, which is an important point, I think, with the obstacles is, I always have that problem, sorry, is fear. It's fear of the unknown, fear of the outcome. And a very simple example, which every one of us has gone through, is when we were toddlers, we couldn't crawl, we couldn't walk, we couldn't stand, we couldn't flip. But as I see my kids growing, and I have a 1-year-old toddler who's starting to stand up, he always falls, gets hurt, but never gets demotivated. And the reason for that is because he doesn't have fear. When we're kids, we don't have fear. But as we grow up, that fear comes in and sometimes control us, and that's why we get demotivated. So make sure you focus on getting rid of that fear and saying, it's okay to be afraid, because it's a new thing, but I'm gonna take the steps.
Okay, so now that I have my answer, actually you answered most of it, which is the fear bit. And I think with experiences, as you grow up, you start to evaluate things more maturely. So yes, when I first started, my biggest drive was the fear of failure. There's so much responsibilities and so much to prove to myself first, and then to others. And then there's always that wall or that obstacle of what happens if I fail. I would be demolished, I would be devastated. Today, if there's an obstacle that comes after 6 years of being in my business and 10 years in the industry in general, you seriously just look at it from the angle of, so what? Let it haida, I'll process what the problem is, try to evaluate a solution, okay? But I'm still gonna have food on my table, I'm still gonna be okay, move on.
Is International School of Art and Sciences here today? We're not hearing from them at all. It's either Garhoud or Barsha.
They're here.
So let's hear a question from ISAS.
Okay, we have a question here.
Hello. Hi. There's a question here. Ah, sorry. We're starting.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, Mariam is here.
Hi. My name is Ahmed Sajjan from Mawakib Barsha. Okay. This question is to all of you. If I don't get what I originally wanted, instead I get something else, should I keep on working to get what I originally wanted, or should I just accept and adapt to what I got?
Would you like to, can you please repeat the question for the panelists?
If I don't get what I wanted, let's say I want to become a doctor, but I can't get that, should I keep on working to get it, or should I just get something else and accept that?
Why can't you?
Now I want two things. I want to become a doctor and I want to go to the UK, but I can't get both.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't.
Impossible is nothing. It's all in your head. You can do both. Just put your mind to it. And no, do not do something that you don't like because you will fail in it eventually.
So I keep on trying.
Sorry?
So I keep on trying.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Ahmed,
I think.
sorry,
Sorry,
can I just Ahmed, let me break it to you. You'll never have everything you want in life. So if you want something, yes, it's a good thing that you kept on saying, I'll keep trying. Yes, keep trying. But don't get devastated if you don't reach where you, if you keep on trying, just keep on trying again and again and again and again. You can do it.
I think the previous question and the answers kind of answered that also. I think you have a couple of obstacles in front of you. You just need to embrace them and pull through and overcome those obstacles. That's basically your challenge right now.
There's also another perspective to this, which is when you try and it just doesn't get you there, sometimes you need to try a different way. So for example, you want to be a doctor, but that's not working out for whatever reason, but you're trying. Maybe there is a specialization that has to do with medicine, but not being a doctor. So it's a question of sometimes changing the route. Maybe not the destination, but sometimes changing the route, and then sometimes even the destination changed, but it's still within that field. So think bigger than just that one goal and always be flexible. I think that always helps.
Thank you, Hannah. Hind?
My name is Tia Ali and I'm a senior from Mawakib Barsha. And my question is for Hannah. I believe that your lifestyle and support system affects the person that you are. So did the lifestyle and difference of being abroad affect your traditions, morals, and work ethic?
Can you just repeat the end of it?
Did being abroad affect your traditions, morals, and work ethic?
Okay, yeah, being abroad. Before even going abroad, I think being in Al-Mawakib has affected me a lot. So a lot of my friends were not the traditional locals. It was all the other mix. So the Lebanese, the Syrian, if we had international people from other parts of the world, that really helped build my personality. The other aspect is my family. Though their family is very traditional, my parents are very open. As in they've been traveling all their life. They've been very supportive to us, but within my family, I was the first one to travel abroad and to study. I studied for a year, and to work abroad, and to do lots of first. So has that affected me? Yes, definitely, because I always see myself as the black sheep, in a good way though, because I'm different. And that has affected my way of taking decisions. So one of the things that has really played a decision that was really big in my life is my marriage. So my sisters are married to locals, different sect, different family that was not really accepted by my family. So they went through a struggle. One, it took her 2 years to get married. Another one, it took her about 4 years to get married, but they did get married. And then I came and I've met this American person who's not American Arab, but he's really from, his background is German, Irish, and Swedish. And for me to decide, like I know this person for 5 years, and I know that this is the person I want to have as a friend, as a husband, as a father to my kids, and also to be active with and to die with. So I've already taken that decision. But then you have the noises around you, which is your parents from one side, the culture, which is telling you you're doing something out of the norm. This is not normal. You need to, accept what's normal, marry from the society itself, and just stay in your comfort zone. But my comfort zone was never the normal comfort zone for any UAE national woman. It was different because of the background, the experience that I've had. So yeah, it has shaped me. So now I'm married, I have 4 kids, and I'm very happy with that decision that I've taken because I've experienced during my life, whether it's people that I've met, whether it's the education, whether it's the travel, that really shapes you. So don't be afraid to, go abroad, to try something new, because it really is a new experience.
Thank you. We have a few questions at the back. Is it Mariam or Hind?
Yes. Hello. Hi, good morning. Okay, my name is Ghassan Khabbaz. I'm representing Al Mawakib Bersha. Yeah, okay. This is a question for Ms. Sahar and the entirety of the panel. How much does the university major define you?
Is this working? Right now, it doesn't define me at all. I completely changed my career path. I completely changed the industry that I was working in. Unfortunately, my university degree really means nothing to my career and my industry right now. It's a bit of a shame. I worked really hard to get that degree. I was good at what I was doing, but I'm even better at what I'm doing right now. So don't let it define you. It's just a piece of paper. Sorry.
Can I just add, university and school is not just about studying. You have so many experiences that happen to you during this course and time that you're at school or at university. It shapes who you are. It teaches you to stand up for yourself. It teaches you to be compassionate, how to even work in a team. It teaches you to persevere. I mean, there's so many times that I've stayed up all night doing projects while looking after my daughter, because I was at university doing my bachelor's and I had my first daughter. It teaches you willpower. The degree is a part of it. And to be honest, like Sahar, I have a degree in marketing and international business. And when I went into the workforce, I thought I knew it all. I have my master's. Yeah, I went in and I got shocked. University is, or your degree is only a part of you. It's not who you are. You build that later on during work and everything else.
Absolutely.
Okay, Manya, we have Isis now asking questions.
Hello. My name is Annabelle Hanum and I'm a senior in International School of Arts and Science. My question is really simple. You've mentioned to pursue something that you liked in the future to basically shape it and everything, but with everything changing, with all the new jobs coming, with all the new jobs going, how can we be comfortable with taking the risk of what major we want to take by following what we like? How can, in the end, we know that what we do would basically help us in our future? Meaning, if I, for an example, would like to pursue something that I like, I'm afraid that in the future, that is not something that would be plausible in the world. So what would you suggest to that?
Hi. You can never predict what's going to happen in the future, but you can guesstimate. So my most advice that I can give you is that see where the trends are going and try to be a chameleon. And what I mean by a chameleon is blend in where the environment is and try to understand different things and try to learn about different things that will help you eventually propel. And if you get there and when you get there and it's not what you want, it's okay, you've tried anyway. Do you know what I mean? Don't expect too much because things have changed. When I started my business, digital media in general was non-existent, okay? In university, what I studied and what I continue to study is completely irrelevant, all right? But you see where the trend is going and you educate yourself because everything, be it information, knowledge, it's all available to you at the click of your finger. So you don't need someone to tell you. You can just go in there, look for what you're, get the information that you need, learn about it, but be flexible enough so when you get there and it's not what you want, you're not too disappointed. Yeah.
And I think being class of 2018, you have access to so much content. You know how the economies are coming about in 2030, 2040. So you know where the diversification of economies are going, so you can get an idea about what are the majors or the careers, opportunities that are out there for you. So please do not ever stop to educate yourself. Education doesn't really shape you, but it's a guideline to where you want to be down the line. And if you, like what Sahar has done, she studied 4 years of marketing. It's never too late to change, you know? You always have your future ahead of you. Never think, I only have 4 years and I have to make a decision within that 4 years. You can always change and make different choices. And this is what this conference is all about. We talk to people who did this 10 years ago and where are they today? And it's very important to get the learning from them.
And just to add one more thing, do not tame your curiosity. I mean, this is something that you should celebrate, and it's not something that ends upon graduating from high school and then graduating from university or your master's or whatnot. This is something that needs to grow with you until like your very last breath, that you continue to explore, like everyone has said, to continue to ask questions, to continue to travel, to learn in every way possible. So to accept the idea that we will continue to learn and to sort of shape and mold who we are at any point in life, even long after graduating, I guess you will always be prepared.
I'll add one more thing, which is we tend to focus a lot on the career. And that's okay to focus on the career because that's the end goal. But even that, as everyone has said, you need to be flexible about. What's, I think, in my perspective, more important is the skills that you learn. Because in every different job, even if it's a job that you didn't like, you're going to learn a skill. And that skill is going to make you better for the next job until you reach the end goal. So focus on developing those different skills that are important in every career.
Thank you, Hannah. Any other questions?
Okay, we're going to have one question here, then one question there. Then we're going to keep all the questions for rounds 3, 4, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to have 3 more rounds of questions after each panel.
Okay.
My name is Mohammed Abu Khossa, and this is Garhoud. just want to ask, since you're all directors and managers, would it be possible if me and my classmates here had internship sessions with you? And if that's possible, how is it possible?
Definitely.
And my question is exactly to Miss, especially to Miss Farah and Mr. Najati. Since you're all alumni.
Yes, I would love to sit and have a separate conversation. Any question, I would love to answer.
Okay, we're gonna take the last question. Please, I mean, we know you all have questions. All of the panelists are still gonna be with us, so you can talk to them during the break as well.
My name is Marah Bashir. I'm a senior at Al-Mawakib Garhoud. I would like to know, like, how did you prepare yourself more? Like, do you have any advices for us on how to start our journey or anything?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, like, how did you prepare yourself, and do you have any advices for us on how to prepare ourselves?
Prepare for
yes, university.
For university. So what advice do you have for them for preparation for university? Ali.
I mean, my only advice to you, this is how I looked at it. I went with the approach of, to be honest, this is something that I want everyone to look into it. Bring it on. This is the only thing that I would recommend you guys when you're actually looking into your future and advising. Just go with the approach of bring it on. Don't be scared about anything. You're gonna keep on trying and trying, experience things in life, but just be yourself. Don't let anyone change you.
My advice is a bit different, which is I wish I did this. Because we tend to jump from school to university to work. And there is not that break where you know yourself. So I would have wished, honestly, when I was done with school, is to take a 1 year and travel the world and just know myself and know what I want to do in this life, what am I good at, and just open my horizons. So if you have that luxury, it would be nice to do it. If you don't, then I think just summer internship would also help you, build you for the next step.
Thank you all.
Sorry. I just want to add, don't be afraid of the unfamiliar. There are hundreds and thousands of professions out there that you might not even think of that you might be excellent at. Do not restrict yourself to the majors that are within one university or the norms. Think outside of the box. Really, really explore.
Read. And I don't mean books and novels and all that stuff. Just read random stuff, because you pick out little information from things, and trust me when I tell you this, you are so much more impressive when your general knowledge is up there.
Thank you so much. Thank you, the panelists. This brings us to the end of panel 1. Can I please ask all of you to step in front of the stage for a group photo and invite AMSI committee to come on stage, please.
Meanwhile, I want to tell you all that so far you have made us look good, because these were some really awesome questions. Thank you all for focusing and asking the right questions.